Kids and tattoos. Two things many would argue have no business being in the same sentence due to, well, the needles and healing, and owing to the fact that only adults should make the decision to permanently mark their bodies. Today we look at some of the most tattooed kids on earth and how they even got there. Tayn Armani.
When I first started tattooing Tayn, my family hated it.
Unfortunately for mother, Shamika Morris, thousands of other online users hated seeing her baby with so many tattoos too. Tayn Armani wasn't even up to 1 year in the world when his tattoo-obsessed mom got him inked from head to toe. Tayn, who is a social media sensation with over 420,000 followers on his I Am Nugget World 561 TikTok account, is now 2 years old and a cute bundle of joy. His mother, Shamika Morris, who refers to him as her best friend, has, however, met a mix of both heavy criticism and support online for her decision to have her son tatted up. Shamika Morris is a tattoo enthusiast and fashion designer from West Palm Beach, Florida, United States. Her online nightmare began when she posted photos from her maternity photo shoot organized inside a tattoo shop where her two brothers acted like they were tattooing her as she posed. The photo shoot was meant to be fun and depict her love for tattoos, but after she posted the photos, she was heavily criticized and people had a lot to say, much of it negative. She said, "People were saying my baby will be born with a whole bunch of tattoos, Morris. He gonna have skin poisoning. It was crazy. I was laughing, but I said I'm gonna get back at them." Morris, who is covered in tattoos herself and a fanatic, indeed made a strong move to get back at them, a move that stirred up a whirlwind of controversy. Tayn was born 6 days to Christmas on the 19th of December, 2020, and just 6 months into breathing Earth's air, Morris had plastered him with temporary, super hyper-realistic tattoos for his 6-month-old photo shoot. In one of the photos, his uncle pretended to be actually tattooing him while little Tayn slept with a bottle in his mouth. Still little enough to use a pacifier, Tayn was frequently photographed and filmed in shiny chains, shirtless or in unbuttoned cords, and of course tattoos. Morris said her son loved dressing up because he goes to the mirror and he'd be feeling himself and popping. According to her, Morris had his hair dreadlocked to match his stepfather's hairstyle and claimed he was a sneakerhead with over 150 pairs of sneakers at just one. She appeared on Truly's My Extraordinary Family show, where she shared that her family had initially hated that she was putting temporary tattoos on her infant, but that they made a U-turn when they saw that it could be something positive. Her family now apparently loves the attention little Tayn gets from looking inked up when they're out and about. Her sister Daenerys said she was certainly not okay with the plan, and she wanted her nephew to have no parts in being inked at such a young age. She came around, however, because in her own words,
It turned out to be a positive thing.
her other sister Alicia, who watches Tayn aka Nugget when Shamika is at work, was frightful about the tattoos initially. She told Truly that,
The very first time Shamika told me about the tattoos, my first reaction was, they're gonna call DCF on you.
despite the tattoos being temporary, people lost it, she said, and yup, people did lose it. Many questioned her parenting skills and were merciless in their words, while many others called her irresponsible. She said the backlash was overwhelming and that people went as far as speaking ill of young Tayn, telling her that her son was going to be a gangster and that he was going to get shot down in the streets. Ouch. The comments only became worse and worse, according to Alicia, with one netizen saying Morris was raising him up for prison. Morris, however, handled the insults hurled at her like a strong woman and kept working hard to give her son the best she could afford, especially as his father did not seem to be in the picture. Alicia expressed how proud she was of her sister and the life she was making for her son.
Because she's trying to pass on a legacy. She don't want her childhood to be his childhood. She wants better for her son. So yes, I'm very proud of her.
Morris has continued to put temporary tattoo art on her son and even make sure he gets them at tattoo shops, well, her brother Zoe's tattoo shop, to give her Nugget as much tattoo parlor experience as she can. His uncle Zoe plays the role of Taylon's primary tattoo artist, and for him, applying these temporary tattoos is a breeze. All it takes is placing the sticky art on Taylon's skin, moistening it with a towel, and carefully removing the white paper. These water-applicable and easily removable tattoos have quickly become Taylon's online identity. He's affectionately known as the Florida Baby, with his distinctive tattoos and stylish chains. Shamika and her family spray Tayn with so much love. She says that her opinion about being a good mother has nothing to do with harmless temporary tattoos. She says that it is about being her kid's go-to person and his biggest cheerleader. She pays no attention to people who she described as those who judge others based on 30-second videos and maintains that their verdicts are their business. In fact, Morris and Tayn have transformed their passion into a creative venture. They co-own an Etsy shop shop called Nugget World Tattoos, where they offer an assortment of temporary body art for all ages. A lucrative way to celebrate their shared enthusiasm for this form of self-expression. Traylin's story sure makes it seem as though seeing kids in tattoos is not such a bad thing. The temporary nature of the art pieces can be viewed as providing an avenue for exploration and self-expression without long-term commitments. It also thankfully grants young Traylin the freedom to decide whether he wishes to embrace permanent tattoos when he's older, while also letting him, or perhaps his mother, enjoy the vibrance of the tattoos. And hey, the unconventional appearance of the mother and son can also serve as a long-lasting and unique bond that they both share. Ethan Bramble.
I like to be a standout kind of dude and draw some attention, turn some heads.
This young man began his full-body transformation when he was just 11 years of age. Not quite old enough yet, Ethan Bramble from Melbourne, Australia, proudly dubs himself the world's most modified youth. His remarkable journey into body transformation commenced at the tender age of 11 when he decided to stretch his earlobes. This seemingly small act sparked a fascination with the possibilities of body modification, leading him on an unconventional path. As the years unfolded, Bramble's commitment to self-expression intensified. His canvas expanded quite literally to cover his entire being, including his eyes, with a weird tapestry of tattoos. What began as a curious exploration morphed into a profound commitment to the art of modification. Having made appearances on various news and lifestyle channels, Bramble became widely known for his inked skin. In his own words, the tattoos that now adorn his body hold no deeper meaning than the physical transformation they represent. For Bramble, it's a journey of freedom, a living canvas that reflects his distinctive approach to life and the boundless possibilities of self-expression. He says he keeps modifying his body because to him,
I think it looks cool.
it is unclear who let Bramble get his ears stretched or why they did when he was just a primary school pupil, but Bramble now needs no further permissions to ink his skin or modify his features. Apart from his extensive collection of tattoos, Bramble has undergone even more extreme modifications, including removing the tips of his ears, his belly button, and splitting his tongue in a process called bifurcation. When questioned about his unique journey of transformation, Bramble candidly stated that his motivation had always been to stand out and look entirely distinct from the crowd. In an interview aired on Barcroft TV in 2018, the then 22-year-old said that he had always nursed a passion for body art. He said, "More or less, I just fell in love with the way it looks and how you feel when you walk down the street and you kind of get that sense of empowerment." Mr. Bramble also garners more than just the sense of empowerment, as he claims that he is blessed with the attention of the ladies as well. Bramble, aka Mod Boy, told Barcroft TV that the question of how many tattoos he has irks him because a person with tattoo sleeves and cross-body markings cannot quantify how many as they all just become one. He admitted that tattooing his eyes was a very risky procedure to undertake, as it could go wrong really easily and leave you blind. Tattooing his eyeballs, however, is not the most painful thing he's done. Getting his tongue split was. He was confined to his bed for up to 4 days after the procedure and said, "About 7 days after the procedure, not being able to talk, eat, or drink was tormenting me." Bramble's tattoos, which now cover over 98% of his body, were not all achieved with a tattoo needle. In some cases, he had to have his skin cut to get his desired look. With these unusual marks, it will come as no surprise that Bramble has people talking, including his family. His mother displayed visible signs of sadness when he got his eyes tattooed. He said, "When I got my eyeballs tattooed, my mom couldn't look at me for like a month without getting tears in her eyes." A lot of people also judge him negatively and treat him poorly, while others admire him and view him as a walking work of art. He acknowledged this by saying, "You realize when you look like this that there are going to be certain downsides, and not everyone is going to treat you how they should, but it's nice when people do treat you properly." In 2019, Ethan Bramble found himself in the headlines when Melbourne police issued a warrant for his alleged assault on an ex-girlfriend. His distinctive appearance, which made him stand out in a crowd, ironically worked against him, making it easy for authorities to identify him. Rather than surrendering, Bramble adopted a defiant stance, engaging the police in a game of catch me if you can. Mockingly, he commented on the police's posts, saying, "I've never once seen him in my life," under one of the Victorian police's posts. Addressing his followers, Bramble vehemently asserted his innocence, attributing the attention his case garnered to his unconventional appearance. He explained that the incident, which led to the alleged assault charge, involved nothing more than dropping a beer near his ex-girlfriend's feet at a bar. While he admitted the act was childish, he courageously maintained that he never threw drinks at her. In the court of public opinion, Bramble waged a battle not just against the legal charges, but also against the stereotypes associated with his strikingly modified appearance, insisting that his unique look attracted more media frenzy than it should have. Bramble, who described himself as a relatively good-looking person before his transformation, told Barcroft TV that he loved the way he looked and had zero intentions of saying goodbye to the needle and the knife, even though he was running out of space on his person to modify. Bramble, who already boasted several implants, unapologetically revealed his plans for future enhancements, including the insertion of silicone in his genital area. Fast forward to 2022, Bramble, whose tattoo score was at 200, had spent roughly $60,000 on his extensive body modification and had welcomed his first child. He appeared on Lad Bible TV's No Filter series, where he stated that he was now looking at laser surgery to get rid of the tattoos on his face. Welp, I guess you could say I regret some tattoos. Not just regret, I think there's a difference between regret and wanting to be perceived differently, he said. This profound change in his life, from young and wild to fatherhood, had now impacted Ethan Bramble's journey was still far from its conclusion. He said he wanted to be able to carry out simple daily tasks, like taking his daughter to school without receiving judgment from others, and stated that he didn't want his daughter following in his footsteps and getting facial tattoos at a young age like he had. The face is a big thing that can lead to so many. For some people, not everyone can lead to a lot of problems for yourself, which I probably wouldn't want my daughter to have to deal with until she was a bit older. I wish that I had not gone as hectic as I did on my face. He was open about his mental health struggles, which he attributed largely to his looks. Sounding way more laid back than in his former interviews, Bramble demonstrated the new nature of his ongoing transformation, this time around to reduce the number of tattoos and not fill up the spaces. He revealed that he had, at the time, undergone 7 painful laser procedures in 12 months, and his photos showed a significant reduction of the ink on his face. Bramble underwent pain to get inked and is undergoing even more to undo what he started at age 11. Not old enough. Midget and Little Woody. This little boy, who went by the nickname Midget, proudly showed off his tattoos to Fox 11, pointing out the words and symbols plastered above his eyebrows, under his eyes and over his arms, explaining that he had dedicated his life to violence. Little Woody, his big brother, also rocked his tattoos above his eyebrows and seemed more laid back than Midget. The little boys, unfortunately, got their tattoos to prove their sole loyalty and membership to their gang, the Tortilla Flats. Little Woody, whose real name is Ricardo Verduzco, and Midget, whose real name is Danny Verduzco, had their young lives entangled with drugs, guns, and the harsh realities of prison from an early age, all due to their affiliation with the Compton, California-based Mexican-American street gang, Tortilla Flats. This notorious gang comprised mostly teenagers, with a few members in their early 20s. Their story, unveiled in a poignant documentary featured on Fox 11's Undercover program with Chris Blatchford, is a narrative that is as heart-wrenching as it is alarmingly real. These two brothers, Little Woody and Midget, found themselves somehow drawn into the dangerous world of gang-related activities at the tender ages of 13 and 12, respectively. Shockingly, they were not the youngest members of the gang. Midget's closest friend, Chucky, was merely 10 years old when he, too, became a part of this perilous existence. The Verduzco brothers were quickly drawn to Chucky, who had run away from home and sought refuge with the outlaws of the Tortilla Flats gang. Their story is a chilling reminder of the all-consuming allure of gang life for vulnerable and impressionable youngsters who often lack guidance and support. It speaks to the heart-wrenching reality of how the clutches of such a perilous existence can ensnare even the most innocent of children, luring them into a world filled with violence, crime, and despair. While the Verduzco brothers and their friend Chucky served as an insight into the unfortunate early initiations, countless others continue to grapple with the unforgiving consequences of such a life, unnoticed and unheard. Their story underscores the need for early intervention and community support to rescue children from the clutches of such devastating circumstances. Midget, in the documentary with Fox 11, told a journalist that he had never used a gun, but he was planning to someday. When asked what he planned to use it for, he said,
kill somebody or something.
When asked why on earth he wanted to do that, the 12-year-old shrugged and answered,
Because they shot me, I almost died.
The chilling reason was revenge. Revenge for having been shot at least 7 times on 2 different occasions. He showed his battle scar, which ran from his chest to his stomach, to Fox 11, and told them that his spleen and kidney had to be removed due to the severity of the injuries. This was, for Midget, more than enough reason to avenge.
Go kill my enemies, the ones that shot me.
If you don't even know who it was, though, do you?
I can find out.
At the time of that interview, Midget was on house arrest and wearing a court-ordered ankle bracelet that beeped every time he was more than 50 feet away from his house. He was placed on house arrest for having a gun and being in a stolen car. It wasn't long before he sawed off the ankle bracelet, though, because to him he didn't have much to do at home, and it was boring being confined to the house and not hanging with his friends. Little Woody and Midget were not the only Verduzcos in the gang, however. Their older brother, 14-year-old Lalo, was also a tattooed member of Tortilla Flats. All of them, less than 16 years old, old, had suffered gunshot wounds at least once.
Because I know they're gonna die or they're gonna end up in prison for the rest of their lives.
Their mother, Virginia Verduzco, sounded hopeless knowing her sons were going to meet a tragic and violent death at the hands of rival gang members or spend the rest of their lives in jail. She was right. Midget went on to spend about 6 years in juvenile holdings around California, including California's Youth Authority. He was then enrolled in a school in Whittier, where he joined an anti-gang program and got his high school diploma. An officer who became his friend then arranged for him to remove the tattoos on his face after his release from Youth Authority at 19 years old. Now plain-faced and deemed stable in character and safe to others, Midget was released back to society. He went straight back to the gang, who gave him a new assignment. Within days of his release, Midget had gone back to old ways, this time bigger and worse. He carried out his return assignment by stabbing 2 teenagers at a graduation party in Long Beach. They both survived. 3 months later, Little Woody's ex-girlfriend, 19-year-old Imelda de la Cruz, was shot and killed at a party. De la Cruz, who was drunk, brandished a weapon during an argument with a rival gang member at the party, prompting many others to pull out theirs. A rather impulsive shooting ensued, and De La Cruz was shot more than half a dozen times by 2 different people during what can be called a reckless spray of bullets. She died instantly. On the day of De La Cruz's funeral, attendees couldn't help but notice Little Woody's unusual lateness. Given that she was the mother of his child, many believed he should have been there much earlier. However, the truth behind his delay was a sinister and vengeful plot that would later come to light. Little Woody had, in fact, arrived 30 minutes late because he had meticulously orchestrated the setup and murder of a fellow Tortilla Flats gang member, Johnny Rios, also known as Big Chucky. Big Chucky had been involved in the tragic shootout that led to De La Cruz's untimely demise. What unfolded that day was not just a late arrival, it was a cold and calculated act of revenge. To carry out his sinister plan, Woody enlisted the help of his younger brother, Midget. Big Chucky had been a lifelong friend of the Verduzco brothers, adding a layer of betrayal to this heinous act. The plot began with Woody asking Big Chucky for a seemingly innocent favor, a ride to De La Cruz's funeral. The old-time friend readily agreed, completely unaware of the impending danger. As soon as Big Chucky pulled into the driveway to pick up his childhood friends, the horrifying truth was revealed. Woody emptied 10 deadly shots into Big Chucky's car, with 6 of them proving to be fatal. Midget concluded the gruesome penance and fired 2 more shots at point-blank range, causing the shell casings to fall onto the lifeless victim's lap. With their grim task accomplished, the Verduzco brothers heartlessly left Big Chucky in his car, engine still running, and proceeded to attend the funeral. Woody, who had just murdered a man, was captured on video, shoveling dirt into his baby mother's grave. The 2 brothers were arrested, tried, convicted, and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for the murder of Johnny Rios. Midget, who was dubbed everyone's worst nightmare in his sentencing evaluation, was soon charged with the stabbings of the 2 teenagers in Long Beach and appeared in court with fresh new tattoos right where they had been lasered off. He was sentenced to an additional 10 years and was visibly upset with his court-appointed defense attorney during the sentencing. He then produced a razor blade which he hid under his eyelid and slashed the defense attorney's face, in total disregard of the judge and jury. The court's final verdict, proclaiming his permanent exclusion from society, marked the end of Midget's menacing reign, which had commenced during his teenage years. Simultaneously, it spelled the conclusion of his older brother, Woody's involvement in this harrowing story. A life they both began where they were not old enough. Benjamin Lloyd's kids. The tragic end of the lives of young lads Ricardo and Daniel Verduzco doesn't serve as evidence that children with tattoos are destined for eternal damnation. The heartwarming story of Benjamin Lloyd's kids serves as a counter-narrative, embodied by a compassionate tattoo artist who's making a positive impact on the lives of countless kids. Parents often deal with their children's persistent yearning for tattoos, something they perceive as a symbol of coolness and self-expression. Kids soon get bored of the easily washable fake tattoos and may even try to recreate the real thing with markers, quickly realizing they're not Van Goghs or Picassos, and the dissatisfaction continues. This one tattoo artist recognizes that the desire for body art is a natural form of self-expression and creativity among children. He has found a way to nurture these ambitions without risking the permanence of real tattoos. Temporary, safe, and super realistic, these tattoos allow kids to express themselves and give them space to make choices about their own bodies when they're much older. Hopefully old enough, he is probably the coolest dad dad or uncle any kid could have, and the one guy that saves parents and caregivers a lot of stress. How? By giving kids the dream of cool tattoos and parents the peace of mind they need at the same time. Benjamin Lloyd's journey as a New Zealand-based tattoo artist specializing in a rather unique clientele began in 2016. It all started with a single social media post featuring a strikingly realistic tattoo he had done on his friend's son. This tattoo was, however, quite different from the typical inked designs which many were used to seeing on children. Soon all his work was created with the intent of bringing joy and smiles to sick children at the local Auckland Starship Hospital. In that pivotal post, Benjamin made a promise. If it received 50 likes, he would dedicate his skills to tattooing the young patients at Starship Hospital. To his astonishment, the post quickly gained enormous traction, accumulating over 400,000 likes and more than 9,000 comments in a matter of hours. Benjamin was overwhelmed by the response, but was even more excited about the prospect of brightening the lives of children who were going through tough times, and posted, "Well, it looks like I'm off to Starship." His unique approach to tattooing sets him apart. Unlike traditional tattoos that involve needles or kid tattoos that were water-activated stickers, Benjamin employs a needle-free, non-toxic ink airbrushing technique. The hospital embraced his creative initiative, allowing him to work his magic on as many sick children as he could. With care and precision, he spent around 9 minutes on each child, a task he described as challenging due to the need for speed, saying it is a real challenge as you need to be quite fast. However, the smiles and joy he brings to the little faces make every moment worthwhile. Benjamin's journey to becoming a tattoo artist for kids has a deeply personal connection. He himself faced bullying during his elementary school years due to a deformity on his hand. As the bullied kid, he turned to art as a source of solace and empowerment. Benjamin began to draw imaginative tattoos over the deformity on his hand and arm, not just as a form of self-expression, but as a way to embrace his uniqueness and stand out. This personal experience fueled his desire to give back and make a difference in the lives of children who were also facing challenges. As the years passed, Benjamin honed his artistic skills and found his calling in giving tattoos to kids, especially those who were shy or insecure. He revealed that he once painted tattoos on his own 7-year-old stepson, who had tragically passed away in 2014. Benjamin noticed that every child he worked with experienced a remarkable boost in confidence after getting their tattoos. The kids got to pick their own designs, of course. In an interview with the NZ Herald, he said that the kids were always amazed by the tattoos, and he enjoyed watching how the children's self-esteem and spirits soared after each session. The transformation he witnessed in these young souls was truly inspiring. He shared a lighthearted yet poignant observation, though saying, "The only bad thing is that they don't want to take a shower afterwards." Fortunately for the parents, the temporary tattoos could be removed with relative ease, much to the dismay of the children. A single bath was usually sufficient to wash away the artwork, leaving the children clean and ready for their next creative endeavor with Benjamin. This fact brought a sigh of relief to the parents and a sense of anticipation to the youngsters, who eagerly awaited their next tattoo session. Benjamin Lloyd's approach to tattooing is simple, yet effective. He employs a stencil and airbrushes freehand, a testament to his incredible talent and kind heart. He has since dedicated his career to bringing happiness and distraction to the sick children at Starship Hospital and making children happy outside the hospital as well. He shares wholesome and heartwarming videos of the kids and their sessions on his Facebook page, touching the hearts of countless others who witnessed the transformative power of his art. The Benjamin Lloyd story is not just about tattoos, it's about the power of art to heal and uplift. His unique gift and selfless dedication have made a lasting impact on the lives of many young patients, proving that a little creativity and a lot of love can go a long way in brightening the darkest days. Benjamin's artistic journey serves as a reminder that sometimes the most powerful art isn't just ink on skin, it's the indelible mark left on the hearts and spirits of those who need it the most. It can also serve as proof that the reason and rationale behind the tattoos we see on kids have much stronger holds than the actual tattoos themselves. Many may disagree and maintain that tattoos have no business on the body of a child. What do you think? Leave your thoughts in the comments and watch more videos by clicking right here.